Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Legacy Speaks. If you're wondering why I'm wearing pink and purple, it's because October is coming to a close, and just a reminder that it's National Breast Cancer Awareness Month as well as National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. For those who have been following me at Legacy SPCast on everything, I've been providing different tidbits and information regarding these two very important topics. So if you haven't had a chance to check them out, please be sure to visit me via Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Woo! Testing. 1, 2. Alright, I'm trying to get this back together because my jaws are low-key kind of sore. Just bear with me as I'm still trying to get accustomed to talking as much as I possibly can. Today we are talking wisdom teeth, my wisdom teeth journey. For those who don't know, I had 8 wisdom teeth removed recently. Yes, 8, y'all. I had 2 in each spot. So as you can imagine, that was definitely a doozy. So today we're going to talk about me preparing for surgery, the actual surgery, and the recovery process thus far. But before we jump right in, please be sure to hit that subscription button below. That way you can stay up to date on newly released content on a regular basis. So let's dive right in. Just keep going. Ow. So let me backtrack a little bit. I went in originally for this left side because I had a chipped wisdom tooth in the back, and that's something that I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to hurry up and take care of it before it gets worse. Get in there, they do x-rays, and they're like, Miss Husband, can we examine your teeth again? And I'm like, all right, cool. Let's go ahead and do that. Do the x-ray again. Then they're like, oh, honey, you're doubly wise. You're doubly blessed. And I'm like, excuse me? And they're like, oh, so you have 8 wisdom teeth, not just 4. Normal people have 4 wisdom teeth, 1 on each side. You have 2 in each place. And I'm like, and all they kept saying was, you're doubly wise. And I'm like, no, this is not okay. This is doubly hitting my pockets. This is not what it's supposed to be. I'm not with it. And so initially I was only going to do the bottom 4 because, you know, when one side is affected, it tends to affect the other side. So I was just like, okay, let me just knock out the bottom 4. But my parents were not having that. They were like, we're not going through this again, so we're going to knock out all 8. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Prior to the procedure, I had to make sure that I was abstaining from eating or drinking, not even water. Yes, so I had to fast as soon as it hit midnight. I couldn't eat anything after midnight. As for somebody who's a night owl, I am constantly eating and drinking, so that was definitely the weirdest thing. And then it was crazy because leading up to my surgery, everybody that I told, they were just like, what's gonna be your last meal? Honestly, y'all, it really wasn't that big of a deal. I think all I had was like maybe a TV dinner or something, because my mom was flying in that Wednesday night in order to help me with things, because I knew I probably wouldn't be able to function. I was gonna be able to drive because I knew I was gonna be on some heavy medication. They told me that I was gonna be on like Percocet or whatever, but honestly, I wasn't even prescribed Percocet. Molly Percocet. But that's neither here nor there, which is a really major big deal for me because I'm constantly on the go. I'm never not working. I'm never not doing anything. So to have to be told to park it so I can recover, that's totally out of my mental space. But yes, so it was a period of self-care. The procedure was 8:15 in the morning, early in the morning, which is great. So I had the rest of the day to recover. Got there, paid, checked in. Then they had my mom go in a separate room to be able to watch this video for those who are helping with recovery. One thing was for certain, I had to have a designated driver stay there. So for those who are planning to have oral surgery, make sure that you have somebody in mind. That way they can not only be there to pick you up and drive you around, but they literally have to stay there in order for you guys to have the surgery. I don't know how most oral surgeons did it, but this particular orthodontist that I went to, or oral surgeon that I went to, their office was just like, no, this person cannot just drop you off. They have to stay the entire time, which is understandable because, you know, you don't want to have the procedure come outside and it's just like, all right, where's your ride? And you're literally just sitting there like, oh, babe, who's gonna take me home, right? So bad. So while she was in the room getting the whole rundown on how to help me with recovery, that's when they came in, you know, kind of prepared me, put the IV in my arm, and then just started up the gas mask. While I was waiting for the medication to kick in, I was just trying to be mindful of my surroundings. It's not that I didn't trust the staff there or anything like that, but I wanted to see how long it would take before I would just pass out from the laughing gas or the IV. Sooner than later, things become blurry, and I'm just like, okay, bruh. Lights out. The procedure only took about 1 hour and 45 minutes, which was extremely fast, but peep game though, my oral surgeon is extremely well known for his gifted hands. He has awards and everything like that, so I expected nothing but the best. Very, very happy. I'll provide his information in the description box below for those who are in the West Atlanta area or even in the Atlanta area, but he did an amazing job. Shout out to everybody at Atlanta Oral Facial Surgery. I really appreciate Dr. Treadway and all of his amazing staff. They're just so lovely and so great and so amazing. And they also gave me this cool packet with everything that I needed, from the gauze to the syringes to help clean out my mouth sockets, and also this cute little shirt. I asked my mom to record for me. Initially, she acted like she couldn't record, but then when she realized that this was the funniest thing on earth, that's when she started getting on the bandwagon. But I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, so here's some footage of me post-procedure. Oh gosh, this is so embarrassing. But yes. Wait.
We'll let her hang out here a few moments and the doc will be in to discharge you ladies, okay?
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Nice meeting you.
Likewise. Have a safe trip back.
Thank you.
That was one thing that was extremely painful for me, having those wads of gauze in my mouth, because I couldn't talk. And initially when you wake up, your instinct is to bite down. That for me, I just initially bit down, and it was just constant drooling of blood. Oh my gosh, it was so bloody. And on that day I had my favorite Delta shirt on, so immediately I'm like trying to get my mind together, recalibrate it, because this anesthesia is still in my system, and yet I'm still trying to save my doggone shirt. So I'm spitting out the gauze, trying to get tissue to wipe off the white part of my shirt, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? This is a huge mess. But the nurses, they helped me out. They put fresh new gauze in my mouth. And then I was super hungry because I had been fasting for close to maybe 10 hours by then. So we stop off, go get us a smoothie, and I spit that gauze out immediately. Apparently I was supposed to keep the gauze in all day, but I didn't care. I did not care. I didn't care about that doggone gauze. I was so freaking hungry. On day one, the only thing I really had to deal with was the initial pain from biting down on the gauze. Other than that, I didn't have any pain whatsoever in terms of recovery. A lot of people were saying that's so painful, it hurts and blah blah blah. I didn't have any of that, so praise God. Thank you so much to everybody who has been praying for me, because honestly it really didn't go as a lot of people had told me. Crazy random thing though, I guess the anesthesia in my system was not agreeing with anything I ate. Every time I ate something, I vomited it back up. It didn't matter what I ate. It could have been Jello for all that's worth. Everything came back up. And can you imagine just having surgery and your mouth is constantly being stretched open to release what's coming up? Oh my gosh. So for 2 days straight, every time I ate something, I vomited. I think the only thing that was able to stay down was some applesauce, some Ensure, and some smoothies. And I was prescribed 2 painkillers, an antibiotic, as well as a steroid. I couldn't get my steroid until that Friday. That was the day I was able to eat mashed potatoes without vomiting, eat Jello without it coming back up, eat soup without it coming back up. And I was just like, oh my gosh, thank you, Jesus. That was a huge win for me, okay? Because to go from basically a liquid diet to finally being slowly introduced to some real food, I was just like, okay, here we are on and popping. One thing is for certain, I made sure that I stayed on top of my medication because I wanted to get better at a faster rate. The only exception I had was taking the painkillers because they were supposed to be taken as needed. So I didn't take the painkillers as much, which was great because between the anesthesia and that cocktail of medication, that really was not working for my system. And once again, thank you so much to everybody who checked in on me, my line sisters, my small group, my Bible study friends. Thank you so much for your prayers and your well wishes, because honestly, I was starting to have cabin fever, and between the nausea and having to stay home and deal with all of this stuff, I just was not a fan. So I greatly appreciate everybody who reached out to me. Thank you. And now it's some time to impart some wisdom for your wisdom teeth. Ooh, you see what I did there? Yeah, I know. First things first, always drink water. Please stay up on your water, your liquids, because your body can definitely get dehydrated. I kept the Gatorade on hand, that ginger ale on hand, as well as that water on hand. Just constantly trying to make sure that I had those fluids in my body. And water isn't just important because you don't want your sockets to get dry, but it's important for you to have water because with me, I noticed that I was having the drying out of the lips. And because of the medication, I was also having this allergic reaction around my lips. So it would get like all dry and crackly and stuff like that. It was disgusting. Still kind of dealing with it. So to battle that, make sure you're drinking a lot of water and also keep that chapstick on hand. Very, very important. Chapstick, water. Chapstick, water. Oh, Jesus. Thank you. Got me out here looking like LL Cool J, just licking my lips all the time. Just... But y'all, please don't judge me because I know with this high definition camera, you can literally see everything. You can see how cracked up my lips are. It's just, oh my gosh, I'm recovering. Please just allow me to be transparent and do not judge me for it. Thank you very much. As I mentioned before, rest is major key. Your body is trying to fight against infection that's in your mouth. So take a breather, sit back, relax, chill. Take this time to self-care, reflect. I understand if you're like a person who's like me who just doesn't know what to do with all this free time, but it's important for you to allow your body to recuperate, allow your body to do what it needs to do. That way you don't have to prolong your recovery process. Another thing is to be sure that when you're drinking, make sure you're drinking out of open glasses. Do not drink out of straws because apparently it causes dry socket. I can't really explain that too much because I just listened to the rules. Everybody was just like, don't drink out of a straw, why? And I'm like, okay, fine. But I guess it has to do with the suction when you're sucking out of the straws. I honestly don't know. Needless to say, don't drink with any straws. If you are drinking out of a container, open up the lid, go ahead and just throw it back and do what you need to do. Stick to soft foods, that way you're not putting yourself through unnecessary pain. I get it, you really want to eat them tacos on Taco Tuesday. I understand that you want a piece of steak, but right now you need to chill the hell out. What really helped me prior to my surgery was I Googled foods that I can eat after oral surgery. That way when I went to the grocery store with my mom that night, we were able to have a list of things that I could and could not eat. I didn't want to feel restricted to the things that a lot of people were saying that I could only eat, like for example applesauce, jello, mashed potatoes, soup, things of that nature. I'm not that kind of person. I can't eat the same thing over and over. So knowing that I could eat steamed vegetables, baked beans, sweet potatoes, cauliflower, things like that, that was extremely helpful for me and really helped me progress over my recovery process because I had a lot of versatility in terms of food. So let me tell you, I thought I was real big and bad with this clam chowder. So I got the little culinary artisan clam chowder soup from Campbell's, and I'm like, all right, bet, this is what I'm gonna have, this is what I'm gonna eat. If I'm gonna eat soup, I'm gonna eat something that I really like. Forget chicken noodle soup, I could care less about it. When I got it, I really wasn't thinking that there was a possibility that mashed potatoes would be inside the soup, but even if the mashed potatoes were in the soup, they've been sitting inside the soup, so wouldn't that make it all soggy, right? Bet. Thank you. I thought I was the only one who thought that, right? So I'm eating the soup, I'm eating the broth, I'm eating the clam chowder, I get to the potato and I'm like, bruh, this isn't as soft as I had expected. Let me try to use my little front teeth to chomp down and make it mash. Oh gosh, when I say that was the worst mistake of my life, that doggone chunk of mashed potato shot from the side cheek to the back, where I literally just had surgery. And when I say that was the most painful experience of my life. So learn from my mistakes. Learn from my mistakes. Be careful when it comes to choosing soups and choosing foods that you think that you can eat. Just go with chicken noodle. Just go with chicken noodle at first, please. Another thing, keep that ice pack and that heating pack on deck. Okay, you're gonna need it because the swelling is major. My swelling has gone down significantly, but baby, when I say that swelling was horrible, I looked like a chipmunk. I looked like the Crimson Chin. I looked like, oh my goodness, I looked like this. And cool neat trick though, my Bible study sisters, they told me to get an old bra and to wrap it around my head and put the ice packs in each cup, which was extremely helpful because when I had the regular pack by itself, I was constantly having to hold it around my mouth. But in my time of recovery, I'm not gonna lie, I was still working, I was still doing homework, I was still doing what I needed to do. So I needed to be hands-free and able to operate and click and do all the things I needed to do on my computer. So that was just the perfect little tidbit for me. So for those who have an old bra, go ahead and use that for your wisdom teeth. And if you're a guy, go ahead and ask your mama or your girlfriend for an old bra. I'm telling you, it is the best trick ever. Another great alternative that somebody suggested to me as well was to wrap the dish towel around your head and stick the ice packets right there for the swelling. So just in case you can't get in touch with a bra, feel free to use that as well. One thing to consider, and by all means, this is based upon your pain level and where you're at in your recovery process. Start reintroducing talking into your recovery process because it helps when you are trying to move your muscles. When your muscles are trying to heal, they tighten up really badly. And so by talking or yawning or doing little oral exercises or whatever the case may be, it helps loosen up those jaw muscles and it helps with the swelling as well. That's something that my friend's boyfriend suggested to me. Shout out to Charles. And I definitely appreciate that because that helped me reintegrate back into my internship. And you know, for me, it's just in counseling, I'm constantly talking, running groups, having individual sessions. So just practicing talking and practicing saying words slowly, that really helped. Last but not least, this is really neat. My oral surgeon gave me this cool little syringe that helps me put warm salt water in the sockets to help the healing process go a lot faster. I'm supposed to do it 1 to 3 times a day, which is extremely helpful because it helps cleanse out the food every time I eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Helps reduce bacteria and also speeds up the closing process of my little gummies. So consider asking them to give that to you when you actually have your oral surgery. In terms of my bounce back, today is day 5 since my surgery. It's 4 days after having my 8 wisdom teeth removed. So I'm doing pretty well. Like I said, the only thing is the swelling and still dealing with the allergic reaction from the medications around my mouth, but chapstick and water has pretty much been my friend thus far, keeping that ginger ale in my system to help me with the whole anesthesia reaction. But at this point, the anesthesia is out of my system and I'm taking my painkillers as needed, keeping up with my antibiotics and my steroids. So I've just been pretty consistent, not pushing myself over the limit, doing what I need to do. That way I can hurry up and have this swelling gone. Oh my gosh, hopefully it will be gone because I have a lot of things coming up. But if you have any more questions, feel free to contact me or drop a question in the description box. I would love to answer or help in any way that I can. And for my fellow veterans who have also had their wisdom teeth removed, drop some tidbits or some helpful hints below for those who are thinking about having oral surgery. I greatly appreciate you guys for watching. Once again, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Legacy Speaks. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Please share, please subscribe. Thank you so much for everybody who has been providing such positive feedback thus far. It keeps me going. I love you guys so much for your support. Oh, and don't forget to stay connected via Legacy SBKS on everything. Until next time. Oh gosh, this is crazy. Even smiling is weird. It's funny.